This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yikes, man. I'm gonna have to try not to swear with you guys today because there are a lot of expletive thoughts. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome into the Mariners Postcast. Anderson Hurst here. To my left is Christopher Crawford, live from the beach house over the weekend because I decided to try and get some good vibes and elsewhere in my life because the Mariners are not providing that for me right now. They are not at all. Julio gets injured. I think that's the biggest story of the night. We're waiting to see. I'll try and refresh, the news as much as we can to get you guys an update. But we kind of saw what this roster would look like without him for the last, 6 innings of that game.
Sure.
And it doesn't look good, guys. It doesn't look good. This roster is terrible in more ways than one. The pitching has come back massively in terms of regression and injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You're wasting an MVP level season from Cal Raleigh, who has another 2 home runs tonight that don't matter, which sucks.
It does.
It sucks.
It really sucks.
The dude is just an animal. And the fact that, oh my God, I can't. I just can't. We'll talk about JRod's injury. We'll talk about Castillo's start. Probably better than the result was, I think. Didn't have his wipeout slider that we saw last time out, unfortunately. But he wasn't awful, I don't think, by any stretch of the imagination. There's actually a couple shouts for Unsung Heroes today as well.
Yeah.
We'll try and get you through this one because the vibes are not great. Mariners lose 5 in a row. And I think that is 10 of 13 or something like that they've lost.
Something along those lines.
Yikes. It's not good. Chris Crawford, initial thoughts.
I mean, the main takeaway that I keep thinking is, please be okay, Julio.
Yeah.
Just please, not just for the Seattle Mariners in 2025, but I just love watching Julio Rodriguez play baseball. I love the joy that he has. I also kind of love the frustration he has when things flail.
He cares, man.
I love how much he loves this game. If you can say anything about Julio Rodriguez, the one thing you can't say about Julio Rodriguez is that he doesn't have a passion for this game. And seeing an injury like that, one of the flukiest injuries I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking. And it goes to show, those people who believe that the Mariners are on a burial ground might be right. This stuff keeps happening. You keep having this history of having otherworldly seasons and nothing to come from it. And it really looks like we're going to get another one of those from Big Dumper. That sucks, man. That just really sucks. He's having such a special season, and it might mean nothing because this team just isn't very good. And tonight they played they've played some bad games. Don't get me wrong. I think they played maybe their sloppiest game that since we've started doing this in 2025.
And I know it's immediately when you think of this stuff, it's like, oh, okay, it's on the players, right? But these are a lot of the same players that wouldn't be making these mistakes before. It's JP getting doubled off on a line drive with 1 out.
Totally forgot about that.
It's Leody Taveras just somehow used to be a center fielder and a good one somehow. I was told he was good at defense. I guess that's not the case anymore.
It was really bad today. It was really bad. And, I don't want to go too cuckoo banana pants here. My problem is that I saw that defensive game after I have seen him just flail spectacularly in that extra inning game as well, where he was just flat out guessing where the baseball was. That first play, that's kind of a tough one. It's one that you should make the
sinking down a little bit.
It was sinking down. You got to just knock it down, though. You can't let that runner get to second base. Once it plays in front of you, if you are going to let that play in front of you, You have to make that play, throw to second base, keep the runner at second base.
Yeah.
And then that fly ball, I'm not saying that that's even an easy play.
It should be caught, though.
It's a play that should be caught, and there is hindsight 2020 me all you want. There's no way Julio doesn't make that catch.
Either of those. I think he makes both catches.
There's no way. Oh, yeah. Well, number one, Julio gets to that baseball quicker. Taveras is by no means slow, but Julio's a different level of speed. He gets to that baseball with ease. And Julio also probably gets to that baseball a little quicker and has a little bit more time to adjust the jump. If he even needs to jump, because, he's taller than Leody Taveras as well. Man, that was terrible defense. And we'll talk about Luis Castillo and all of that in a second, but just real quick on the defense too. I was going to come on here, Anders, and spend 45 minutes yelling at scorekeepers for giving that error to Cal Raleigh at first on
what?
The row. I was furious. Like, remember we talked about remote throws? Oh, we almost got a remote throw today over something stupid. But I was so ticked off, the nice way to put it, when they gave that an error to Big Dumper. Look, it was a sinker. It wasn't his best throw by any means. I couldn't catch that baseball. Your first baseman has to catch that baseball. And that is a massive play in this game. If Pelez catches that baseball, it's 4-2. It is 4-2. And you feel so much more confident than the next two runs scoring.
And you get out of the inning. It's not like that's the first out or second out.
The inning is over. Vince
and Luis
Carter,
Castillo, everything looks completely different for him.
It was just so sloppy. And, I totally forgot about JP Crawford. I have no idea where Crawford was going on that play whatsoever. Dylan Moore makes an error in right field.
Sucks.
Well.
I'm sorry. Dylan Moore sucks at baseball. I cannot watch him play anymore. I cannot do it, man. I can't.
It's not my favorite experience either. I do think Dylan Moore serves a purpose on this roster, playing against left-handed pitching and left-handed pitching only. But I will say this. His last 3 at-bats have been pathetic. Pathetic. It's not very good. It's not a very good time to be a Seattle Mariner. I think we can kind of move on to Castillo now. The line is 6 innings of, I believe, 6-run baseball, 4 earned. So, yeah, the defense hurt him. This was pretty easily the worst we've seen Castillo in a while as well.
Yeah, it was.
He just didn't have command of any of his pitches. Those 2 homers to Joe Adell were located about as poorly as you can locate a pitch. Chris Taylor also got and good for Chris Taylor for reviving his career a little bit for the Angels.
Hey, it's a get-right game against the Seattle Mariners. Who else needs one? Come on up. Who needs to rejuvenate their season? Come play us.
And it, we are reminded of that wonderful Zach Lee for Chris Taylor trade that the Mariners might have lost, Anders. That might not be a trade that the Seattle Mariners won.
Don't say.
But Castillo wasn't good today. He deserved better. And it's frustrating because if he would have pitched a semblance of how he pitched on Sunday against the Twins, the Seattle Mariners win pretty easily, like a 1 or 2 run game. But like we've said, I think this is 6 episodes in a row. The Seattle Mariners are not a good enough team to overcome average starts. I would call this slightly a below average start from Luis Castillo. 6 runs of 4 in baseball shouldn't have you cooked. And it ends up being 6 innings of 6-run baseball because the absolutely, I wanted to swear there too, defense. But Luis Castillo didn't help the Seattle Mariners very much. And even though his defense didn't help him either.
And I can't say yesterday when we do this that we lost because of Bryce Miller, and then today not say that we lost because of Luis Castillo. But there's other context to it. Like the defense around Castillo is so much worse today. I think Castillo overall pitched a better game, but he still didn't pitch great by any means. So I'm just in terms of consistency, I'm going to say the same thing. Like he was probably the main reason why you lost today.
Sure.
It's just,
and Nelson brings up a great point here too, that Castillo was kind of due. He had 7 really good. The Houston start wasn't great. That's the one you did by yourself. Did Andres Munoz pitch in that game, by the way?
Still not like we might go another week and a half
Yeah.
before seeing Andres Munoz because apparently he only comes in ninth inning save situations now.
I would go 7 solid starts in a row because you know he dealt with a lot of traffic in that Houston. He battled for sure.
Yeah,
and he battled in this one. You know, he got
he
to
did.
overcome some bad defense, and he had to overcome some bad pitching from himself. Like you can't give up 3 homers and say, "Oh, Luis Castillo pitched a great game." It's very difficult to do that. But I don't know. Get well, Julio. I'm so sad.
Yeah, the vibes are not good, as you guys can probably tell, especially after losing 5 in a row. I wonder if you guys knew that the Mariners have lost 5 in a row.
Terrible.
I popped up a question from our good friend Brian O'Connell earlier. I want to ask about the Dan Wilson dynamic because we're starting to see a lot of things that would not happen with Scott Service teams. Like you can criticize Scott Service all you want for a lot of reasons, right? There's a reason he got fired. He lost the clubhouse, yada, yada, yada. He talked down to media. He probably didn't react quick enough in terms of, kind of kicking his guys in the butt. But I almost feel like
Anderson, I got to interrupt you. I got to interrupt you because we have Julio news.
Oh, yep. Let me know.
From Daniel Kramer from MLB.com, Julio Rodriguez had x-rays taken tonight here at Angel Stadium, which came back negative. He is day-to-day, and Dan Wilson is optimistic that he'll avoid the IL, but they won't know more until tomorrow. That's pretty good news.
Good update. And it kind of looked like it was kind of a stinger when it first happened, but the fact that he couldn't put any weight on it was a little concerning for me.
It was how long he was down for me. Like how long he was on. And look, the Mariners may have just told him, dude, do not get up. Like we need to make sure that this is there is a history of the Mariners maybe asking guys to get up a little bit too soon, if we're being completely honest. Including Julio Rodriguez. But that's good news that there appears to be no structural damage.
That's good.
I would be shocked if he's in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, probably not.
And I would be shocked if, he didn't miss a couple of games. Maybe you need to DH him for a game as a way to keep his bat in the lineup and keep him fresh. But definitely good news that the x-rays came back negative. But let's go back to the Dan Wilson thing. Sorry.
Yeah, because with Scott Service, it seems like, from what the front he put on with the media, it was almost like, all right, it's us against the world. Like I'm defending my guys, but then behind the scenes, I'm going to kick their butt a little bit and make sure, hey, get your guys' act together. Let's go. And that's why after a slow start, you would see them rally in the middle of the season and always make it at least close by the end of the season.
Right.
With Dan Wilson, it's kind of like, hey, easy going. Let's go. Everyone's great. Julio's great. Cal's great. Oh my God, these guys are great. I'm just curious because the stuff that we saw tonight and that we've seen a little bit in this first third of the season comes to me like, okay, it's a team that's not focused enough. It's a team and that comes from the manager. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. If you kind of get that same vibe.
I can't deny the vibe, but I will caution that to say that I am not in that locker room is the understatement of understatements. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Very, very few people actually have a
We're
good
just
idea.
reacting to what we see here.
We just react to what we see, right? And there have been too many games like this for me to just completely dismiss an argument like that. That there is an issue with focus, that there may be an issue with leadership, maybe an issue with not having a Justin Turner or a Carlos Santana, in this locker room.
And Suarez.
Big Dumper, I would have no doubt that guy is a great leader, and Julio gets this team fired up all the time. It doesn't matter if they're down by 13 or up by 13 or anything in between. When he gets on base, he's trying to pump those dudes up and say, let's go. But there just kind of seems to be, especially today, is lethargicism a word?
Yeah.
Because there just kind of feels, or borderline apathetic.
Well, and especially when your guys when we would go through stretches of, this team's playing bad baseball, is the bottom about to fall out? No, they wouldn't go on these 5-game losing streaks very often.
No.
And lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals and then get swept by the Orioles. You wouldn't see that. No.
And, I think some of this could have to do with the fact that as good as Luis Castillo has been, as good as Brian Wu has been, not having that ace among aces to just kind of stabilize things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think I can completely dismiss that, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't think I can completely say there's no Randy Johnson on this staff.
No.
And it's easy to,
There's no
the
Felix
pitching
on
is
the
not
staff.
the biggest problem. There's no Felix on the staff. There's no guy that you're just like, okay, this is going to be nails. We're all good. They're good pitchers. They're really good pitchers. But at the same time, when stuff like this breaks down, I really think they miss Logan Gilbert a lot right now.
Yeah.
I think you miss a Logan Gilbert.
And you miss prime George Kirby, I think, too.
100%. 100%. And, this is a massive start, I think, for Kirby on Sunday. Massive
Really
start. Got to avoid the sweep and got to, 5 innings of 2-run baseball in his last time out. He wasn't bad. It was certainly the best of his starts, damning with faint praise to be sure. But sometimes I feel like they're missing that guy. Sometimes I feel like they're missing that guy that's just going to give you that Tariq Skubal performance, that performance from Spencer Strider when he's healthy, that type of game. Jacob deGrom today, that type of performance.
A Zach
and that's
Wheeler,
not an insult to their starters. It's just when you have 5 number 2s sometimes, maybe it feels like you really would love to have a number 1.
Yeah, and there are times in the season where, like, I completely agree with you, by the way, like 100%, like these are the times in the season where you need that. I think when you're going and you're just like, boom, you can roll your 5 guys that you all feel good about. That's when it is good to have like a more balanced 1 through 5 than like a top guy. And then it kind of tails off after that. Right. If you're going to choose between those 2 ways of building a pitching staff.
No question.
So you take the good with the bad, but you're right. I think this is the moment where you wish you had that guy. And I thought we were going to get that performance from Luis Castillo tonight. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. He doesn't have his slider. I hope he can bounce back. It didn't seem like anything was really wrong with him or anything.
No.
Sometimes you're just stuff that isn't there.
Stuff types the slider isn't there. And, maybe due for some regression a little bit with how good that slider was. What did we say? It was like a 90% swing and miss rate.
90% whip rate in the Twins game.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes when you have 90%, you drop down to about 5 or 10. Now, the swing and miss stuff was okay. He ended up swinging and miss, I think, 14 of his pitches. That's not a bad number, really.
No.
It just wasn't good enough. And when you are giving up homers and you have a defense behind you playing absolute crappy, minus 1 guy who just might be my unsung hero again.
Just do it. You won't.
I probably will.
Well, we'll get to that right after we talk about some FanDuel.
Okay.
All right. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Come on, Pacers. Come on, Pacers. Every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action.
FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. So, as somebody who is not a huge fan of either of these teams, it's so nice to have FanDuel as to be, it keeps me more interested in the game.
Rooting interest. There you go. Yeah.
And now I do have a rooting interest because I would root for pretty much every monster in history over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I don't feel good about that. It's just the way it is. But, laying $5 on Tyrese Halliburton to have the over on assists, laying $5 on Aaron Nesmith to go over 4.5 3-pointers or something along those lines. It just makes things more interesting. And there's no place that makes it more interesting and more easy than FanDuel.
If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up right now. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, guys, time to get a little bit more positive. I know we've been kind of ripping them for a while, but it's what you got to do in a 5-game losing streak. But I saw in particular 2 unsung hero worthy performances. And I'm just going to, before we get to that, unsung villain, Dylan Moore, I can't watch you anymore. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I cannot do it. You're not a good defender. I don't care what your Gold Glove says. You're not a good defender anywhere. And your bat is just, might as well just not bring it back up to the plate at this point. God, he's so bad right now.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I wish I could.
Yeah. So I see some people saying it right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get the lead out of the way because I know you're gonna kind of go in a different direction. I think Cole Young,
That was
number
be mine
one.
actually too.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Then I still leave you your guy that you can go back to every single time.
Yeah.
But he gets his first major league extra base hit. He also gets another hit, I believe. He's 2 for 4.
2 for 4. Yep.
Yep. So like, especially if it comes right after we talk about him last night and like, is it time to start worrying about him? Nah, man. He shows you like, hey, I'm still here. I still have a good hit tool. I can play good defense. And it's good for him, honestly, like, especially when the rest of the team's vibes are down right now.
Mm-hmm.
That double was a thing of beauty. He stroked it. I thought I was going to get out for a second. And apparently to our friend Luke Arkins, it said it would have been a home run in like, I think 24 of 30 parks. So, I mean, he's if he starts to drive the baseball, that's going to be a huge, huge thing for him. Yeah.
The Anaheim's right field is kind of a weird one because it's a really short fence, but it's
like Boston's
drive. You really have to hit the ball pretty darn far. Rowdy Tellez would have had a grand slam, by the way, yesterday in 24 of 30 as well. I was going to go Cole Young. I was talking about Ben Williamson, but you know what? I'll talk about Ben Williamson again.
Do it again. Do it.
The defense tonight was spectacular, and it stood out more because of how crappy everyone else was defensively today.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, that diving play he made, and I believe it was the third inning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good and huge because Castillo was really struggling in that point. To be able to get that out, made a terrific play on the bunt as well. The bunt hit, charged that baseball perfectly, showed off the arm strength. His defense has been really good, and he executed a perfect hit and run. Real quick, one thing I wanted to talk about, Trent Thornton going 2 1/3 day after coming off the injured list. That's kind of malpracticing. That's a lot of work for a guy just coming off the injured list. It's 34 pitches, so it's not crazy.
Right.
But like using him as, let's not forget, Trent Thornton was pitching the 8th inning for this team for a long, long stretch of time. I think that's kind of crazy to have him go 2 1/3. Like, and by the way, Jackson Kowar was rough today.
Awful.
Rough. And
awful.
Could be in that unsung villain category as well, because it was still a close game. It was still a very close game when he came in to pitch. And
he couldn't find
another issue I had with Wilson, too, was that it was clear he didn't have it, and nobody was warming up. He just flat out had the 6th inning. I
forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it necessarily with the manager. And this is not me just being, you kick them when they're down. I think we've been pretty clear. And I know I've been clear on another channel that I used to do, that Dan Wilson was not my favorite hire in the entire world.
No.
It's just, there are still signs that suggest to me that Dan Wilson needed more experience before taking a job like this.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And other people are saying for unsung villain Leote. I don't even think he's unsung. You guys know it for a fact. He was a sung villain. You saw the difference of, by the way, I mean, thankfully it looks like it won't be for very long. Hopefully that we won't be without Julio in center field, but you guys see the difference. It instantly makes when he's not out there. He makes so many plays look so easy. And it's not just that, like, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and Julio was 2 for 2 today. Pissed on a baseball. Sorry. Shout out Pioneer Elementary School. I always say that whenever I say a word I'm not supposed to. Stung a baseball up the middle. I think it was like 107, 110, actually. I think what it was. He was starting to feel it again offensively. I felt great about what he did offensively these last couple of games.
And yesterday, too. Yeah,
yesterday was perfectly fine. Now it looks like you're going to miss him for at least a couple of days. And, we'll have to see, because they're going to have to do another MRI too. I guarantee you that they will say, we need the inflammation to go down. We'll do the initial one. # not a doctor, not even kind of a doctor, but you usually see this, right? You do the initial MRI, and then when the inflammation goes down, you do it again. So they're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination for a potential long-term. It's good news to start that they don't find a fracture now. It wouldn't be terribly surprised, and boy, knocking on all the wood, it happens a lot that they sometimes find something else after the second MRI.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, this is kind of what happened in last year, actually, when he started off really slow, like a lot slower than this year. He had just started to get going like a week, and then that's when he did his ankle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Maybe without that injury, we get the 2023/2022 Julio.
Maybe.
For the summer, for the full summer, because he was out for like a month.
Yeah.
And then
back with that 5 strikeout game against the Mets in the City Connects. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God. And and it was they brought him back early for Sunday Night Baseball for the first time.
Sunday Night Baseball. They were wearing the City Connects. They win 12-1. Everything else is great, but Julio comes back and goes because he refused to do a rehab assignment, which shows you too
again
that like rehab assignments are important, folks. And I think that there are 2 pitchers on the Seattle Mariners who needed one. And let's hope we get Luke Raley back on a rehab assignment too, man. Like this is for Ty and Colby stuff, but like I'm really concerned about the first base production. I'm just concerned as heck, and the fact that Rowdy Tellez's defense leaves a lot to be desired.
Solano sucks again. Not that he was ever good, but he like sucks again.
He's starting to have positive regression, and now
no, it's not. So I'm with you there. Thanks, guys, so much for hanging out with us. Sorry about the weird background and not so clear camera. I'm at my beach house trying to get some good vibes elsewhere in my life because, boy, the Mariners are not bringing it to us right now. That's Christopher Crawford. I'm Anderson Hurst. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. I will be going solo dolo tomorrow because Chris Crawford loves his, ballet recitals?
Yep, I am going to watch 2 nieces. One niece will be watching with me in 90-degree heat in a building with no air conditioning. And I just know, Anders, you're going to get like a 14-1 Seattle Mariner win. And I'm going to be just miserable.
Well, if you leave me like you did the last game that you left me, the Houston game where I had to scream at my computer for 30 minutes straight, then
Brian brought this up, by the way.
Officially not allowing you to leave.
Andres Munoz, no matter what the score is tomorrow, has to pitch. Andres Munoz, no matter what the score is, no matter what happens, has to pitch tomorrow. You cannot give this guy that much time off between these outings and expect him to have good command. He has to pitch tomorrow. It could be -63 to sideways 8, and you still have to pitch Andres Munoz tomorrow.
Hell, throw him out as an opener. I don't even care.
Yeah, there you go. Has to pitch.
Make sure you get him in. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate you guys coming with us every night. These last 5 games have been tough, but hopefully the vibes turn around. We got George Kirby going tomorrow. Something to watch there. We'll see if Andres Munoz pitches. We'll see if Julio's in the lineup. Doubtful. And hopefully Cal Raleigh can keep his MVP stuff up because he's just been so fun to watch. Let's make it matter, please. Let's make it matter.
You deserve so much better. You deserve so much.
All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow. And Chris will be back on Monday. So we'll talk to you guys then.